Retired U.S. Navy pilot, Captain Armen Kurdian. Thank you for your time. Let's begin with the prospect of a regional escalation. How likely is that, and are we already seeing it?
So, good morning, Marnie. We have the ability to prevent this escalation from going beyond what it is right now. Uh, the strikes against the weapons caches in Syria were important, as well as the shield of the USS Carney against the drone and missile attacks from Yemen. And we are hopeful that Hezbollah will stay in its corner and that Israel won't overly retaliate. And they've even said they are pretty much fighting a defensive war against Hezbollah. If Hezbollah fires a rocket, Israel will respond. I think that's a good thing right now because a regional escalation is what Iran wants. And whatever Iran wants is something we should not give to them. What they do not want is a stranglehold on their money and an inability to support and arm these proxies, which are in 5 or 6 countries surrounding Israel. That is something that we have to stop. If you blow up a weapons cache, Iran can just go buy some more weapons. If you take away their money and their assets, then that severely hinders their ability to support these militias all over the Middle East.
Saudi Arabia's defense minister is visiting Washington. What is the Saudis' role and influence in this right now?
So the Saudis have a very critical role here because they were on the path towards normalization of relations with Israel. What Iran was hoping to accomplish appears to be what's happening right now, although I don't believe that it's dead, but this effort of normalization has probably significantly slowed down. The Saudis can act as a neutral arbiter. Publicly, what I believe is happening is they will make public statements against Israel, but I believe that in the background, of course, Saudi Arabia and Iran, they are not friends either. And they're not necessarily friends of Hamas either. So they are going to try to use their influence to try to stop the war from that side. So they are playing a very critical role, a very delicate role. But I'm also very interested in the roles of some of our European allies, especially French President Macron, who also just visited the Middle East in an effort to build an international economic financial coalition against Iran. And quite frankly, I'm a little surprised that our government has been more active in that realm or was necessarily the first ones to come up with that idea.
Interesting. This situation in Dagestan at the airport in the last couple of days, alarming indeed. What do you make of the anti-Semitic actions in Russia and Russia's response to what we saw happen at the airport?
I'm flabbergasted by what we've seen all over the world, frankly, Marnie. It's hateful, it's disgusting, and it's tolerated and maybe even in some areas of the world tacitly approved and encouraged. I don't necessarily have any faith that Russia is going to protect its Jewish population, as you can see from their actions in the Ukraine right now. I think we need to be a lot stronger as a country in official and non-official channels about this is real racism, what we're seeing right here, Marnie. The progressive left can talk about racism all they want, but what we are seeing from a lot of the left-leaning groups and organizations all over the world, including this country, is real racism. And I think we need to call it out for what it is, whether it's in our college campuses or whether it's in the halls of our own Congress.
Yeah, or on the tarmac in Dagestan.
Absolutely.
The IDF, as you know, has entered Gaza. They are not calling this an incursion, though. The ground forces ready to enter this tunnel system at any moment. Talk about this next phase of war, as Netanyahu put it.
So Israel has gone in. Essentially, they're establishing beachheads over land. What I believe they are going to do is they are going to secure areas of entry for larger forces to enter. What Israel did over the last week, they came in, they destroyed some anti-tank positions, destroyed some berms, cleared a path essentially for Israeli forces to come in and go into the urban areas. Hamas doesn't really have the best capability to defeat the Merkava tank, and you see a lot of their tanks there in Gaza. Israel has, I believe, thousands of these tanks and also armored personnel carriers, including the Bradley M113 armored personnel carrier. I would hope and I would like to see Israel also attempt beach landings to try to surround Hamas and cut them off and isolate them as well. So what we'll hopefully see is a much more rapid movement of Israeli forces into the Gaza once these beachheads are established and secured, because the faster that they can move in means the less time that Hamas has to prepare.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.